Hey y'all, come on in. Let's talk about it. So this 21-year-old college student, Elizabeth, and I'll put her name down below because I really don't want to mess her name up. But something happened over in Dubai. So let's check out this clip and then we'll talk about it.
New York City college student has been released after being sentenced to prison in the United Arab Emirates. An advocacy group says Elizabeth Blanco de Los Santos has now been freed. She was detained in Dubai in July after she was accused of assaulting and insulting a security guard at the airport. The organization detained in Dubai said she unintentionally touched the guard's arm, leading to the charges. She had been sentenced to a year in prison before her release.
So according to an article that I read, on Monday, October 2nd, Elizabeth was sentenced to 1 year in Dubai for accusations of assaulting a guard. Elizabeth, who was a New York native, was trapped in the city for 3 months after a travel ban was issued against her. Okay, so now let's get into the backstory of this situation. So in July, Elizabeth and her friend decided to go on vacation to Istanbul following the death of her father, and also she recently had back surgery. On their way back from the vacation, they decided to stop in Dubai rather than Paris on their way back to the US because they had a 10-hour layover. So while Elizabeth and her friend was in the airport to get security checked, Elizabeth was asked to remove her doctor-mandated waist compression suit that she needed after she had her surgery. So then Elizabeth was brought back to a private screening room with plainclothes women who removed the compression suit for her. Elizabeth claimed that they were very rough and she was hurting because she was still swollen from the surgery. According to reports, Elizabeth stated that she was feeling very uncomfortable and afraid and that she felt violated. After she was searched by the guards, she asked them to help her put the garment back on, but the women only laughed at her and caused her to become very uncomfortable. According to reports, once Elizabeth noticed that the guards weren't going to help her, she leaned over and asked her friend to come help her put the garment back on. But while she was doing so, she made contact with one of the female workers, and the worker began to get very upset. This incident caused the officers to come over and detain Elizabeth. According to reports, Elizabeth stated that she gently touched her arm to guide her out of the way. Once Elizabeth was detained, she was stuck in a room for hours with the female worker while she wrote up a complaint in the Arabic language. And also Elizabeth was told to sign that form even though she couldn't read what it said. According to reports, once Elizabeth signed the complaint, she was allowed to leave. So she was heading back to the US, and that's when she found out that it was a ban and that she was unable to leave. So at that point, she had to stay over there for those 3 months, going from hotel to hotel. So in August, Elizabeth had a court appearance and she was advised to pay 10,000 AEU dollars, which is about 2,700 US dollars. So according to reports, they stated that money is seen as a compensatory payment used to extort tourists for a second income over there in Dubai. So let's fast forward to October 2nd. So the prosecutor didn't like the fact that she only had to pay that amount of money and then she was able to go home. So the prosecutor appealed the ruling and she was ordered a year in prison. So it looks like it was appealed again and Elizabeth won this time. She was able to return back to the US. So this is great news for Elizabeth. I'm happy that she's able to get back home. I'm not sure if her friends stay over there with her for those 3 months or if she was told that she had to come back. I'm not sure. I haven't saw anything on that. But I am glad that she's back. All in all, Elizabeth had to come out of pocket $50 through this whole situation. Sorry this happened to her. She's a young girl in college. She's already going through a lot, and on top of what she's going through, this was added on. So I'm so happy for you, Elizabeth, and I pray that this traumatic situation eventually eases up. I know right now you're still in the state of shock, but it seems like, girl, you handled yourself really well over there. A lot of girls your age, including myself as well, would have been a nervous wreck, panic. But it sounds like you handled yourself very well over there, and I'm so happy for you. But on another tip, guys, this is why I really don't travel, because I'm not familiar with how other places work, so I just stay home. Or if I go somewhere, I try to do my research. But in her case, it was a gentle touch, but it sounds like from the beginning of the guards seeing them, they already had their guard up and they just didn't like them, I guess. So any little thing they did ticked them off. But I'm glad that she's home, and I'm just happy that she's home, guys. So comment down below, what do you think? This was a very traumatic situation. But like I said, Elizabeth, you handled yourself well, girl. Okay, guys, if you have any comments, please leave them down below.